earn the maximum number of likes for it to be printed, they started sharing it with their network. So effectively, you were making other people talk about Lucia as a brand. So this started even before I started filming the film. So that was, and eventually we selected the one that you're seeing here on the right, Lucia, the next change, and people started wearing it. Within like 2-3 months, I could see some people at theaters and everything wearing this t-shirt and walking around. So Lucia as a brand was communicating to everyone. And we also gave monetary benefits. Whoever designed the t-shirt which got printed would get a cut from every sale. So now when we are closing accounts, we're going to give him some money as well. And then we started something called as Join Project Lucia, which was again shared on Facebook, wherein we said, you could join the team in any capacity you want. So we listed out everything that we need, every location, every car, and we gave a lot of opportunities. We said you could even come and be a junior artist if you feel like, if you want to see how the project works. And people filled up these forms and submitted, and I think, have about 1,500 people in the database who said, I can give you my house, I can give you my car, I can give you anything, or various kinds. So we just made the system available easily for people to communicate with us. The next thing is I started doing filmmaking workshops, which one I enjoy doing. So yesterday in one of the panels we said that there are no books written on filmmaking. But my question is, why are we depending on an industry to do it? You're a filmmaker yourself, you're a writer yourself. It only takes 2 days to set up a workshop and start communicating with these people and start teaching it. So that's what I've done. I think I do these filmmaking workshops regularly, wherein I interact with a lot of youngsters and teach them how digital filmmaking is done and how to write films. So what is the other benefit of doing this is that they will all help you when you're shooting your scene. So in Lucia, there is a scene which is exactly looks like this, a press meet scene where I need about 50-60 people sitting there. So anybody who's part of film production will know that getting 50-60 people, or let's say 100, who are dressed well with photo cameras to sit as a crowd is easy a 1.5 lakh budget shot, right? You have to pay each one of those. I just wrote to all these people saying that, hey, I'm shooting this scene. Do you all want to see how it works on location? And that's how this shot was seen. Everybody who's there with their own cameras are my workshop students who came for a day, and they had a practical experience on how I was shooting the film, and as well as they became part of the scene, which helped me reduce budgets in shooting this. And eventually I made best friends with this Facebook and YouTube. I don't think without these two, we would have been able to communicate or do the project so well. Let's take an example of the trailer. We put up the trailer on YouTube and it went 50,000 views in 3 weeks. Now you might, and you also can see how many people in different countries have seen it. It might not be so clear. So you might think, what is 50,000 views in 3 weeks? Because Kolaveri D or Ganjam Style, we have been hearing much higher numbers, right? Now let's compare this with our own market as to how other Kannada film trailers are doing. Okay, so Lucia had a 50,000 viewership in 3 weeks. Vishnuvardhana had 41,000 in 1 year. Yare Kugadali 40 in 2 months. Sangoli Rayana 80 in 4 months. Drama 76 in 4 months. And all these films are actually targeted at the audience who knows internet as well, right? A film like Maina, which was a romantic comedy, or a romantic film, could easily communicate to the urban audience. So, which means that there should have been a much higher viewership on their YouTube. I think ours shot up only because we interacted so much with the audience. I'm not even talking about the quality of the trailer or anything. It's just, why would an audience share your trailer and speak about it? So that interaction got us that high number of views. Number of views of Lucia channel since the project we started is 26 lakh people have seen some content of Lucia online. Okay, so. Now there is generally this belief that online audience don't come to theater, right? Let's keep that as of now, that yeah, let's think they don't come to theater. So also the industry believes that what is the point of doing all this? Where is the revenue? I don't know how many of you are aware that YouTube pays for your content to be streamed over their network. So 26 people seeing this content has given us 1.7 lakh revenue from YouTube, which could be your 50-day posters expense. But some money came in from a market that has been just left out. So we worked on these small numbers where money has to keep trickling in, because we were on a very modest 50 lakh budget film, right? So how do we then bring in more funds to market the film? So I kept working on these ideas. So in the target age group, because online you can see all this, is if you see the 25 to 34 are the one who are majorly watching Lucia content. And these are the people who have the money to come to a theater or to, you know, buy a DVD or a Blu-ray. So it is reaching the right target, which the film industry is trying to reach all the time. Film look. I think this is something which is very, is ignored. Our poster had 102 shares on the first day when we published this poster on Facebook. Now 102 people sharing a film poster is a big thing. They're effectively marketing your film, right? So any corporate are these days wondering, how do we make people share our ad? How do we make people share our brand logo? So Lucia was able to do it within one day of 102 people sharing it. And I think we've worked pretty hard on getting that look, the poster look that you're seeing there, which made people that, you know, we have to watch this film. We wanted them to feel that. And I worked with a lot of corporates. All these corporates have tied up with us during the film. So some of them gave us money and some of them gave us their space in kind or some resources of theirs to shoot. Like Cinepolis has been, like Papa John's here gave us their space. They didn't give us any money, but they gave us 5 days of their space to shoot, which is as good as giving a lot of money to them. So in film branding, if you see that holding, Taxi for Sure, that's placed graphically. So I sold that digital empty space to Taxi for Sure for $1 lakh. You know, like, I mean, this scene when I showed it to them, that's an empty wall actually. And then we in the graphics placed Taxi for Sure. And so there are corporates who would pay you if you place brands in the film and try to market. Papa John's gave us the space, Range Rover gave us their vehicle for free, so we used it for 2 days. And all the time now, if you just go meet anybody who's seen Lucia and ask them, where does heroine work? And they'll tell you Papa John's. They might have never eaten at Papa John's. They might never even go there, but they know the brand, you know. So that is something that you have to effectively bring out through your, so this is another way of raising funds to do the film. This looks confusing, but these are very, very innovative. I think nobody has done this in the world. So wherein we made people the distributors of the film as well. So we started giving them a cut in the sales if they start promoting or marketing our film. I think I'll be able to, so using this as a tool, we raised another 18 lakh online. You know, these people are people we have never met or will never meet as well. Some we bump into, but we actually raised physical cash through this idea. And what is this idea? I'll explain in a while. So we also came up with a premiere show idea, which is that because this is an audience film, the audience should come to the premiere and not the stars. So, but how do you then monitor or make it more effective marketing? So we said that we created a software wherein they can choose any of Lucia's songs, sing the song, and their laptop will judge their voice. Our software will judge how good their voice is, and they earn points based on that. So these 5 guys that you're seeing scored the most. And there are another 250 people who scored the most. So it effectively became that people were stealing seats from each other. So if you score 5,000 by singing a song, another guy could come, select the same seat, score 5,500 and steal the seat from you. And both will get a mail saying that, you know, you stole that seat. So he has to come back and sing the song again. And what was happening, people were getting more and more familiar with the song in the whole process. So in the premiere show, everybody knew the whole song, you know, so because they all had sung it so many times. And these 5 people, we again connected them to our sponsor. We said that the top 5 scorers will get a pickup and drop from Taxi for Sure. So Taxi for Sure is happy because again their brand is promoted, and they must be again happy now because Ramesh Arvind is getting to hear about Taxi for Sure. You know, so and still marketing their brand. I think that's how you involve a corporate into your film. Output. Now we have planned all that, done all this. Now how did the film fare and what did it do? First thing, I got an award from the British Council for Creative Entrepreneur. I got to represent Kannada films in London, wherein I spoke about how this whole thing was strategized and done. This was last October. Second was, this became the first Kannada film, maybe the first Kannada film to world premiere in London. So when we started the project, we thought this will be a DVD release, you know, 50 lakh. All I wanted to do was make a film and give out DVDs. But eventually it came to this. And we also won the Best Film Award at the same film festival in London. And I think in this festival, there were only 2 Kannada films so far. One is Girish Kasturwali sir's film in 2009, and next was mine. And we were competing with Monsoon Shootout, which had won some award at Cannes. We were competing with the Anurag Kashyap and film Bombay Talkies. So there were many Hindi films that we were competing with, and the whole 2 shows that we did was a full house. And ours was the only 2 shows in the festival which was a full house, which meant that Kannada audience in London or in UK knew about the film. You know, the whole 1.5 years of marketing and interacting with the audience made them come to our shows. Ours was pre-sold. And I met people who had traveled for 4 hours to watch the film in London. So if you just look at the amount of investment an audience can do if you reach out to them. So I met this guy who traveled for 4 hours in a train, spending 70 pounds, and the price of the ticket was 15 pounds. And he traveled, came, watched the film, and went back the same day. And there was an entire group which did this. And if you translate this to money, you would think, why would anybody do this, right? But if you connect to an audience at such a level, they are willing to put in that kind of money and time to your film. So we got a lot of accolades from Irfan Khan and Anurag Kashyap, who had, rarely get to see a Kannada film, and they saw about it and they tweeted about it, they promoted the film. And today, when I was last week in Bombay, and I could see that so many people knew about the film because of Anurag Kashyap tweeting about it. And people would keep coming in and asking me, are you the guy who made Lucia? So, and there are many stars in the last 2 weeks from the other industries who have spoken about our film. PVR directors Rare came forward and said that we will release your film pan-India on the same day as its release in Karnataka, which was September 6th. And from what I've gathered, this becomes the first Kannada film to do that as well, wherein it releases across India in major cities on the same day as Karnataka release. Was it a great monetary thing? I haven't even seen into the accounts. For me, the idea that our posters read Ahmedabad, Bhopal, Surat, Delhi was the first step towards, progressive film distribution. And project has developed a cult following. Most of these articles that you're seeing are not in film newspapers, but in business magazines. So the project got attention of all the entrepreneur, business, finance magazines to look into it and write about it. IMDb rating, this is more or less become a way of judging the film's capabilities, and I think this is the only Kannada film which has 2,000 people who have voted as an average of 7.9 over 10. And you can't buy these, and I'm glad that Inception has 8.5 or something. But of course, some 6 million people voting for it. But 2,000 people voting is a very big step. And if you look at IMDb and put in any number of any film's name in Kannada which we have produced, this is the only one to get that rating. Eventually, the film, I think, roughly has collected about 4.5 crores in 7 weeks. I'm talking about the net. And initially, the film was thought as a 1-week film, including Jayanna. He had said that, okay, 1 week iratte aamele. And after the first show, we went to his office, me and Satish, and we were acting like, we were very depressed. So we went for lunch when we thought, damn, how do we make films, if this is not. That was the kind of feel that we got from the numbers, that this won't, like some people said, at the interval, half the audience were walking away in some towns. But eventually, it's come to 7th week, and now it's in its 8th week. So now question comes is, who watched Lucia? Because we did reach out on digital platform, right? We spent very little money on real world marketing. We did posters, we did television ads, we did all the basic stuff which amounted up to around 45 lakh. But now the question is, who are these people who saw the film? So I have some graphs if we take single screen and multiplexes and how it fared over the 7 weeks. You will see that week 1, the single screens were really high and multiplexes was just below, but see how it changes dramatically from the 2nd week. The multiplex is still going steadily down, whereas the single screens fell drastically. Now, we knew that Lucia was a kind of film which impresses an multiplex audience, but the general belief is that there is no multiplex audience for Kannada, or they don't bring in enough funds that a film can stand on its own. So now that all the data is with me, because I've produced this film, I can see that it's not true. You can make an urban, sensible film, and people will come and watch it and give you enough funds as well. Now let's see how a multiplex and single screen share is furthering. If you see, 59.07% comes from multiplex for a film like Lucia, and 40.93% from single screen. And if I add the next 2-3 weeks, which is, I think in multiplexes it will stay for at least 100 days, this multiplex is going to shoot up to 65% minimum. And now the most amazing data, because every time you write a script, the producer says, think of the C center. think of the Hubli and outside Hubli audience and write a script. I think you can get away from it. There are other filmmakers, there are other heroes who will make films for them. So if you're somebody who thinks on an urban level, whose thoughts are different, then you can today make this film because your Bangalore alone can fetch you 76.68% of the revenue. Okay, so I think today a lunchbox in Kannada is possible. It's just that you have to market it to these people. They will come and watch it. So now our new form of distribution was online because we, as you know, Karnataka is an IT hub. So half our young population is outside India. So, and they all, once they've gone out of India, they want to watch Kannada films more than they would want to watch if they were in India. So how do you now deliver the film to them? Because a Tamil or a Telugu film can play in a theater abroad for a week and audience, because there is some sort of loyalty towards those language for the audience, they come to the theater and watch. Whereas a Kannada film, you can only play about 2 shows or 3 shows, and if they have heard very good things about the film for 10 times, then they might come and watch your film. It makes no financial sense to any producer. Like I did give out Life Ishtene to US. It went through the whole of US, and at the end of it, they said you made 70,000 rupees. So I said, really? I mean, after all the effort of shipping a print and everything, if only 70,000 comes, then even as a producer, I'm not excited to deal with that market. So that's when we came up with the online idea. And we made Home Talkies. I think many of you are aware of Home Talkies, wherein you can put a film online and people are going to pay and watch it in their own homes. And that's much more easier for them because they don't have to travel, spend money on travel, spend money on ticket or popcorn. And all 4 or 5 members of their family can watch at single buying, which is half the price of a ticket price, which is $5. And we launched it, and it has done fairly good, but we needed more content to come up on the website, more films from the industry to come up. We have a catalog of 20 films or something. So I had to set an example, right? So I believed in the technology. So we said with Lucia, because it's my own production, I'm going to release it online 3 weeks from the theatrical release. The usual fear is that it's going to get pirated, correct? And that it will affect the theatrical release. So just 3 weeks after Bangalore theatrical release, we bravely put our film up online for people to view. And if you see the number there, it's 4,930 people who have actually paid money and watched the film. And you would be shocked as to how much money that can translate. That's 45 lakh turnover that comes from online market, which the Kannada film industry is completely ignoring. I mean, a film like Lucia, which has no stars, which has no, big budgets and everything, can reach up to that many people. So imagine if all the films from the industry are put up in one place. So there is an audience who's willing to pay. Because you're not providing them the content, they are going to torrents and free websites and downloading it. So now, and those numbers that you're seeing, they're all real. Just before the session, I took a snapshot. So you can see where all the money is coming from: Australia, Brazil, Canada, Swiss, is Shez like Russia or something, Danish, pounds, Hong Kong. So all these people are Kannada people who are paying the money in their own currencies and watching the film. So market for online release of Kannada film is big, and I think compared to any other industry, we should be utilizing it more than anyone else, because our audience are very tech savvy because of the education. So it's much more easier for them to stream it on their iPads, on their devices, and watch the film, rather than other cities. So we are not really utilizing what's available. Now the fear of piracy. When we started Home Talkies, there were a few producers and websites who said, piracy agatte hakbidi anta. Now let's just see how to, of course, piracy is happening no matter whether you put your film online or not. For example, Govinda and Namaha is not there on Home Talkies. It's freely available on YouTube, and 1 lakh people have watched it for free. And there is Vishnuvardhana, which 271 people have watched for free, we told them to put it up on Home Talkies, which they didn't. And there are these our own buyers, like if you can look at our own channel buyers or your DVD rights buyers, who put up the film online for free for the YouTube revenue. Remember I showed you some YouTube revenue earlier? It's very small. If 26 lakh people watched it, only 1 lakh is what YouTube gives you. But imagine if you do a pay-per-view transaction with the audience. So by putting up content for free on YouTube or anything, you are telling the audience that, you know what, if you wait for a while, it will anyway come for free online. But look at 5,000 people paying and bringing you 45 lakh. Because if you hadn't released it online, even those 5,000 people would have been forced to download the film for free. right? So look at what you're able to sell or what market you're able to reach out than the market which is getting it for free. I think this is how all the brands function. You make a Nokia or a Samsung Note 2 and suddenly there's another China product. But Samsung Note 2 is not going to stop manufacturing phones, right? They're looking at the people who pay for value. And so benefits of this is that rich HD content is available. Now, somebody said in the last forum that the age group that downloads films are the age group which is students who have no money and a lot of time. Some of you must have sat through that session. That's exactly correct. And I would say let these students watch it for free because they are your future paying customers, right? So they have to first get used to watching a lot of Kannada films. So when they have enough money to buy a home theater system, a Blu-ray system, they will not want to watch a pirated copy. They don't mind paying $5, which they have, and watch the rich HD content that you will be providing. So build the market today for that future audience. So only when they pay will they value the content. I have also seen that on YouTube, when you give the film for free, they watch it half. No film can impress you halfway through or 10 minutes through, right? The film is always trying to build up towards the entire film. When it's available for free, they watch the first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes, and immediately reject it, saying it's a bad film. But as soon as you make them pay, they're going to sit through the film because they've paid for it. So that way they value the product entirely. So if all movies are in one location, like home talkies can be a virtual theater where all movies are permanently available. So audience who come to see Paramatma might see that, hey, there's another film called Jatta right next to it. Why don't I just watch this? So effectively, Paramatma has marketed Jatta. So this cross-marketing can happen on a single platform. And direct relation, like Sidlingu director was in touch with this audience because we have released Sidlingu. He used to interact with